Hi, we have with us today Saiyami Kher and Harshvardhan Kapoor and director Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra, and they're going to talk to us about the labor of their love, Mirzya. Your previous films have been very like socio-political drama space, and this is your first love story. What drove you to make those films, and now what drove you to make this love story?
It's going to be a long answer. So if you ask me what drove me to make those films, so I think if you don't mind, we'll pass that because it's a lot of experiences in life, what I had seen, what I had observed since my childhood, to a point, what moved me, what made me angry about what's going on around me. Looking at people, looking at intolerance and religion, the whole corruption. My heart goes out for the defense warriors of this country, the airborne warriors, the pilots, and so many things. But coming back to Mirzya, I think it's a journey which I had to travel through. My first film, Aks, and then Rang De Basanti, Delhi 6, Bhag Milka Bhag. And only after going through that journey, I think Mirzya was possible for me to attempt a movie. Couple of reasons there. The starting point at the genesis of it is everybody wants to tell a love story. And not just for the sake of telling a love story, because somewhere or the other we've been touched by love at some point in our life. So we want to share it in a way. And if we are not touched, we want to find it in a way. And most often is a bit of both of them. So Mirzya has been this journey where one has, at one level, started looking for true love, whether it exists in today's time. So the device was to juxtapose it with an eternal love story.
ये वादियां दूधियां कोहरे की इनमें सदियां बहती हैं मरता नहीं इश्क मिर्जा सदियां साहिबा रहती है
You created two different worlds. The old era almost looks fantastical. What was the idea behind that? And also, how did you decide on the setting for the current era?
Well, it's not one at a time. That and an era like you described so well, fantastical. So and it's an evergreen era. It's timeless. It's eternal. That was the endeavor. But however, that was a reflection of the major part of the story, which is set in today's time in Rajasthan. So the way the story was told in today's time, it was juxtaposed. It's so real, and the characters are as real as they can get. Not just in the word of it or the writing or on the page, but the way also they've been played out. With a very new approach towards performances, a very new approach towards capturing the performances, a new approach towards how we design the music of the film or the choreography around it, and the whole telling of it, and actually the acting of it is very new. So it was as real as they could get. The characters, and especially the lead actors who play the character of Harsh plays Adil, and Saiyami plays Suchi. And their relationship, their conflicts, their love, their daring to love as such. So when you're watching something which is so true and so real, it always felt correct that when you juxtapose it with another era, it should be fantastical. And so the meaning of that somewhere creeps into the unseen performances in today's time, and you start adding everything up. So it's like a complex algorithm, but when you see it play out, it's very simple. what goes behind it is not important. It's actually how you experience it. It becomes very seamless, very true, very simple story being told.
You also did that in Rang De Basanti, the juxtaposing. And when you were writing this, did this also flow naturally? I mean, this is how it was conceived since the beginning?
You have to give it to Gulzar bhai, and that's his magic and how he weaved it in. And when I went to him, to be very honest, I went to him with the folklore of Mirza Sahiba. And it was somewhere down the line in a discussion, and I didn't know who came up with it first and how it happened. The urge was to connect it to today's time. So this whole journey happened. Yes, there will be a parable with Rang De Basanti. There's the same maker. It feels like the same non-linear kind. It's a good parable. It's a good example and a very tough act to follow, especially with the success and the cult status the earlier film achieved. But it's very different as such. There it was the spirit of an era gone by, which comes into the same people. And they're acting in one film, so it's like an actor. You're playing a role, and that role overpowers you, so you start believing. Yeah, so there are actually the writer Kamlesh Pandey, who wrote the thing, he thought there's an amazing film in the history of cinema. It's called Sant Tukaram. The actor who played the role, after that, actually started believing his Sant Tukaram. And he went on the street singing songs, and that was it. He just became that. He became Sant Tukaram for the rest of his life. He forgot he was an actor. So we took that parable and we said, can this happen to the generation today? Can a Bhagat Singh happen? But out here in Mirzya is very different as such. It's not the spirit. It's not a reincarnation. What it says is actually that love, true love, is eternal. It can cross over centuries and yet you feel the same. And everything has changed around us. The speed of light, जिसको जिंदगी की रफ्तार कहते हैं हम लोग रॉकेट पे बैठ के चांद पे जा रहे हैं और plane में बैठ के इधर उधर, we are jet setting, cars are on the streets and everything, internet, we are so connected. So everything is so fast. That's what we talk about, the pace of life, right? But the pace of your heart, it's still beating at the same rate. Before all these inventions happened and the pace became faster. And it's going to beat the same way for the next 5,000 years. I don't think that will change. So that is where the story is, that love is eternal. And so I have to give it to the actors that they played two roles, and they need to take a bow for that because it is their first film. I never shared with them that how difficult it will be. So, but I think somewhere deep down they knew what they were getting into. So we have to give it to both of them that in the first film they enter and they actually play out two roles which are dramatically different, but they are tied up with the umbilical cord as such. So that finer grain in the performance is something which they were working subconsciously, and I'm sure we'll understand a lot more as we go along, and all of us will realize and it will fall upon us.